Hey guys, my name is Jessica Lindley, and obviously I was born with arthrogryposis. I am 19 years old and I currently go to Oregon State University. I just finished my first year. My major is wildfire ecology because I plan on becoming a 911 dispatcher for wildfires. I am already certified as a 911 dispatcher nationally for police and fire dispatching, so I'm just hoping to continue with that, but I wanted to have a college education to essentially help push me up in that career field, because when you want to do wildfire dispatching, oftentimes they want you to become a volunteer firefighter, but obviously I can't do that. So that's why I am majoring in that, even though you don't necessarily need to go to college to be a dispatcher, and it also gives me something to fall back on. But basically, I'm gonna tell you my AMC story. I was born in 2000, and I was born with a club foot, a flat foot, hyperextended knee, a dislocated hip, a subluxed hip. Both of my wrists were clubbed. Both of my arms are stuck straight. My shoulders are affected, so pretty much every joint in my limbs was affected. I have had a total of 18 surgeries so far. I just had my 18th surgery 2 weeks ago, and that was on my left knee because it was constantly dislocating, and that was just a side effect of having arthrogryposis. It was not solely due to my arthrogryposis. It was just because since I walk different, it caused the muscles to be stronger in different ways, so then it essentially pulled my kneecap out every time I would straighten my leg. So but basically the surgeries I've had have been to correct my club foot, which luckily I only needed one surgery to do that, but I did have serial casting. I did have surgery to correct my hyperextended knee. I had both of my wrists fixed straight, and then this arm can bend a little bit. That's not from surgery though. I had both of my thumbs worked on so that they're pulled out of my palms. It's just, I've had a series of surgeries. I've had webbing removed underneath my fingers so that I could open my hands a little bit more. It's just been, as I said before, a series of surgeries, but that you can't let that discourage you. And I just want all parents of AMCers to know that you may need to put your kid through a million surgeries, but they aren't gonna hate you for it or blame you for any of the pain and suffering that they've gone through. They just want you to be there for them. My mom obviously made all the decisions for my surgeries when I was younger, and until I was, I'd say, about 15, no one asked my opinion on the surgery. They didn't say, do you want this surgery? What do you want? Because of course I would have said no, given that I was just a little kid. Because, a little kid does not want to go through that pain, but you need to necessarily just say to your kid, look, it's going to help you, it's going to do this, it's going to do that, and this is the consequence if we don't do it. And explain to them, don't tell them that they're not having surgery. Don't try and dumb it down for them, because believe it or not, we understand more than you think. My mom never did that for me, and I understood everything. She'd say, Jessica, we're having surgery on your other wrist, and we're getting it fixed for you, and it's going to be just like the other one. I know it's going to be painful, but I will be here for you, and we will go through it together. And basically that's all that I needed said to me, was just that she'd be there for me, and she always was. So that's something that I think a lot of parents need to hear for their little ones with AMC. And I mean, I've gotten so far with my AMC, I don't think that either of my parents would have expected me to be fully independent and a few states away, thousands of miles away from them, living independently, taking care of myself, because they probably would have expected me to stay home. And I love my family, don't get me wrong, but I chose to move thousands of miles away to learn my independence, to see what I could do for myself so that I wouldn't have to rely on them. Because if I did stay home, my mom would have continued doing everything for me because she knew what I needed help with, and granted it helped, but there have been so many frustrating times that I have gone through. I've been hysterical. I've called her crying, saying, Mom, I can't take my earrings out and my ears are infected and it hurts so bad. And she's just saying she can't do anything because she's thousands of miles away. But I eventually figured it out, and I was able to contact a friend, and that friend was able to take my earrings out for me. But if I was living at home, she would have rushed home from wherever she was and done it for me. And then I would have never had the chance to have to figure it out. So I think that that is a huge part of the independence that a lot of AMCers need to learn. And when I moved here, I didn't think that I'd need a caregiver, because I can bathe myself, I can do my own laundry, I can do all of the basic needs that I need. But after shortly moving here, I realized how taxing it was on me. I could barely do my homework because I was so exhausted from taking care of myself, whereas a normal person would not be exhausted from taking care of themselves. So I did find organizations, and I found an organization that provided me a caregiver, and now I get 40 plus hours every 2 weeks for a caregiver to come in and do my laundry and help me shower if I need to shower, do my dishes and wash my bedding, and all these things that are difficult for me, vacuuming. And as I said before, even though I can do them, it doesn't mean that it's easy for me to do it. And I've found so many, like I said, different organizations to help me get through my college life, and it's hard to believe how many things are out there truly for disabled adults to get assistance with just daily needs, and you don't have to rely on your family, and your family can be your family and not your caregiver. And that's something that has been amazing to me. And I would not be who I am today without my AMC. My AMC does not define me, but it did make me who I am. I would not be as passionate about disabled rights as I am. I would not be as driven as I am to accomplish anything that I want. I've had so many people tell me, you can't do that. And I turn around and say, okay, I'll do it twice then. And I figure it out. And I think that a lot of AMCers have that mentality, and that's what gets us through our daily lives, is having that mentality of, tell me I can't do it and I will do it twice. And that's, as I said, something that is what keeps us all going. And having AMC, I've seen what humanity truly is. I mean, being disabled, sure, there's a lot of mean people out there, and there's horrible people out there to disabled people. I mean, I've had people almost try and trip me. I've had people yell at me. I've had someone tell me that I wasn't disabled because I was too young and I shouldn't be parking in a handicapped spot, but I was only driving, so they couldn't even see me walk. But it's just stuff like that people are so ignorant and they don't see it. But then there's amazing people. Like, I had some discrimination getting on an airplane, and it was severe discrimination. I was hysterical out waiting for the plane. The plane had arrived, and someone came up to me and told me that I could not fly on that flight with my service dog, and that I would need to wait for the next flight, which would be the day after, and I'd have to sit in the airport. And I explained to them that I could not do that because of my physical disability. I would have been in too much pain. And they proceeded to tell me that, and I ended up hysterically crying in the gate, not knowing what to do, texting my mom saying, this is what happened, I have no idea what to do. And humanity really showed what it truly was. There was other people who were sitting around me who saw what had happened, who got up, gave me their phone numbers, and said, if you are going to fight this, I will fight on your side. And one of them even went up to the security guard that told me I couldn't fly and said, I will sit next to her and her dog. I don't care about her dog, and this and that. And he said, no, no, no. And eventually they ended up letting me on that flight, and that woman did sit next to me along with one other very sweet woman, and we are close friends to this day. We talk on Facebook. She's just been an amazing person, and there's these amazing people that you can meet, and that's due to my disability. If I wasn't disabled, I wouldn't have had the chance to meet some of the most amazing people that I have met. I wouldn't have had the chance to have some of the amazing experiences I've had. And there's times that I can look back on my childhood and say, oh my gosh, remember that time that I climbed up the playland just to go down the slide, and it took me 20 minutes, but I did it. And a lot of kids can't say that they remember those moments the first time that they made it up the playland because they were too young, or it just didn't mean as much to them. But us AMCers, we can remember those amazing moments that most people can't, and how we persevered through them and became more than our disability. We still were kids, and being a kid was hard with a disability. It truly is. You see all of your peers running and all of your peers going far ahead of you, but you were able to teach them some things as well and say, look, you don't have to run a mile to have fun. You could sit on the playground and throw rocks through a fence and still have fun. And that's what I did as a kid, and I had plenty of friends, and they learned that you don't need to do everything that everyone else is doing just to have fun. And that's something that I think a lot of us AMCers have taught ourselves and have taught others, and how to rise above our disability. And I've had people look at me and they think I'm not as smart as them, and I'm affected mentally, and little do they realize I'm not. And once they realize that, it just makes you feel all that much more better, because they're seeing what you are, and that not all disabilities are the same. So I hope you enjoyed my AMC story, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment and ask me, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.